Well, let's talk a little bit more about growing China's economy. Stephen Perry joins us from London. He's chairman of the 48 Group Club, a British organization which builds business ties with China. Stephen, what will China watchers, what will investors really be looking for as the world's second largest economy holds such an important meeting?
Well, I think what people are going to be fascinated by is the prospect of growth over the next 5 years and the prospect of the development of the Belt and Road Initiative, what we call the New Silk Roads, that these provide opportunities for foreign companies to participate in the Chinese economy and in the growing area out beyond the Chinese economy, and they're from into Africa and South America. Cooperation between the West and China is not just between China and the West, it's also in third countries. And I think people will be looking for signals that that trend will continue and develop, and I'm sure they'll get it.
Do you think the signals you're talking about will perhaps be different in the West versus the East?
Sorry, I didn't quite catch your question.
For example, if people in the United States, leaders here in the U.S. are watching this, are they looking for a different type of signal than perhaps leaders in other parts of the world?
Well, you know, a lot of people in the West have looked for a long time for China to be becoming like the West. But that's not going to happen because they haven't studied Chinese history enough. China is going its own way and its own direction, but it provides great opportunities for the West, provided people respect the Chinese way. If they do, the opportunities are there. And I think the next 5 years will show that the Chinese way is their way and is successful, and we can participate with it rather than trying to change it into a Western way of doing things.
Stephen, what about the long-standing issues, really the challenges facing the CPC, especially when it comes to the economy? I mean, you know this country very well.
Yes.
You've worked in China for 40 years. You know the people, you know the politics. You also know the culture.
Yeah, we've got a feel of it, haven't we? We've been working in China for 65 years and personally for 40 years. I think the biggest thing that worried us in recent times has been the development of corruption. And we were very relieved when this was taken as the paramount objective after the last party congress to start a campaign against corruption. That has been waged seriously and firmly and will continue for the next 15 or 20 years. But beyond that, it's not just corruption, it's developing amongst the officials a commitment to serve the people, a commitment to understand the full breadth of Chinese history and Chinese culture, and to do their job of helping the people of China. We were worried that some officials were turning to self-interest and so on, but we've seen that changing, and we think that in the next 5 years there will be big changes in that regard. Also, I think if you turn to the economy, the agricultural area will continue its change from feudalism to being a much more mass cultivation operation. Manufacturing will become global in its technological reach, and the service industry will lead the way, as many smartphones now are being sought from China rather than from the traditional sources. So all of that bodes well. There are challenges on managing the development of China from a moderately successful economy into a high successful economy. That's the challenge from 2021 to 2049. And people say to me, do you think China can do it? I say, look what they've done in the last 38 years. Do you really think that they're going to mess up now? I don't think so.
All right, we'll leave it there. Stephen Perry joining us live from London.